So we had a call recently with a prospect who wanted to know, they wanted to engage our services. They wanted to help with researching audiences, developing some show concepts for audio and video, and then to help them launch the content series. But they were unsure if they should engage us now as they begin to kick off the show, or, and I actually like this thinking, or if they should wait 6, 9, 12 months until the show's been in market for a while and they've gotten feedback, and then invest in really making the show professional and elite. I like the thinking because it takes an iterative approach, so it's not taking putting too much weight on the kickoff. A lot of people make that mistake. And so it's saying, like, let's put something out now and then we'll make it better over time. Love that idea. But I'll tell you what I told them, which is there are a few preliminary steps, and it's not overwhelming. You don't have to spend a bunch of time, money, effort, etc. to do them. But there are a few preliminary steps that you must take prior to launching a content series. And that's with us or without us. That's in general. If you're going to launch a content series of any kind, you need to go through at least these skeleton steps. So here's how we think about this. The first thing that you must do before you even start testing the waters is you've got to write a value proposition. And I know you're already saying, oh, I don't like, that's so dumb. It has nothing to do with my content. It's just a waste of time. That's consultant speak. It's not. I'm telling you why. One concise sentence or a couple at most of concise sentences that explain what you're going to provide through this content series is, number one, going to effectively communicate that value to your customer. But it's also going to give you a target internally as to why you're making this show, and a North Star that you can point back to, ladder back to say, is this piece of content actually delivering on what we said our value proposition is? It's absolutely critical. I mean, you could believe it or not, but I cannot emphasize that enough. If you don't have that, just to give you a personal example, we did not have that with the startup show 4 years ago. And that, in my mind, that is a big reason as to why the startup show fell off after a certain period of time, because we had a lot of attention. It wasn't about that. We had a lot of interest. It was that we weren't clear as to why, right? The big why. Okay, that's one. Number two, establish messaging for the brand. Again, this sounds a little bit ethereal, like, it's a lot of effort to do. But if you don't know the who, what, why, when, and how of what you're going to say, how you're going to say it, why you're saying it, when you're going to say it, all of those things. And it can be as simple as just, back of a napkin, writing those answers to those questions out. It could be as complex as actually going through an entire branding exercise and having a, brand look and feel and a lookbook and all those things, style guide, but you don't have to do those. At the very least, answer the basic questions that define the message that your content series is going to tell and that your brand is going to tell. From there, you need to brainstorm and present show concepts. So these are the big ideas, how the show relates to the audience internally, and what platforms they should be executed on, right? So we're talking about digital content. So these are going to be TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, Facebook, Twitter, email, blog, right? Like, there's a million different ways that you could actually distribute them. But what is the show concept at its core? How does it relate to the audience? What is the creative way in? And then how would you distribute it? Those are the key components that you need to figure out, because that's going to determine, again, the creative wrapper around how the show gets distributed and communicated. And, again, if you don't have a concise and congealed show concept, it's difficult for the audience to be able to attach to and sink their teeth in and come back for on a regular basis. So that's super important. From there, you need to go talk to your audience. Here's our concept. Here's what we think. Here's our value proposition. Here's our concept. What do you think? Is this actually relevant to you? Does this actually solve your problems? And get them to feed back on if they like what you're talking about, if they agree that actually is a problem. If they don't agree, why don't they agree? Is there a different problem? And that's not to say that you listen to them 1,000,000%, like Apple's famous for saying, we build products that the customers need but don't even know that they want, right? So there's some of that creative development that needs to happen. But at least validating to some extent that you're in the right ballpark, that you're talking about things that matter to your customer, to your audience, are super important. And then once you've done all of that, collaborate with your team, refine the idea, and finalize the show concept, and then go out and create. Right. So this doesn't need to take a ton of time. This does not need to take a ton of money or effort, but at least going through this thought exercise. And I would recommend you doing it over, at the very minimum, the shortest time frame, maybe a week, 10 days, 2 weeks, it would be a plenty of time. And just going through this with your team, or if you're a solo founder, maybe going through this with some friends and then with some people who are in your prospective audience, and at least verify that what you believe to be the problem and potentially the solution are actually the problem and the solution through your content. So back to the beginning, I love iterative approaches. I love getting dirty and figuring things out on the fly. But these are the 5-6 things that I would say you absolutely must do before you start a content series. We'll see you tomorrow.